You can't have a bloke like Jetta run around midfield and get 7 touches for the night. Like, I know he started the year poorly, he ran into some good form, but this was crunch time, and, you know, he's a premiership player with Sydney. Yep. He's had that experience, and they would have been looking at him to give them something. Cripps hardly got near it. Darling was...
Who wins the wooden spoon?
I reckon West Coast. They've lost a lot of experienced players, and they'll take a couple of years to get themselves up and going again. So I think it'll be a lean season for the Eagles.
That would be a huge fall.
Word on the West Coast Eagles, they've been, I think, disappointing all year. They did what they had to do and found a way to win against Port Adelaide. They were shot. They looked shot. They looked slow. You know, that was the leg speed issue there. And Gaff and Sheed aren't quick. Their quickest player is Lewis Jetta, and God knows what you're going to get from him.
They played 2 finals, but they are so far off, it's not funny. So they need some hard calls to make. You know, even like, would you throw up a Jack Darling for a trade? Do you throw up, you know, a star of your team? I think Duggan has to come into the midfield. They have to find a link.
Johnson on the siren. And there it is. Yeah, I agree with you, Jared. Very impressive performance by the Fremantle Dockers. Eventually running out 62-point winners.
It is a JLT match, but we want to win every game we play. We're just beaten most aspects of the game, contest. I think even in that first quarter, we're still beating around the contest, which isn't what we're aiming for at all.
We'll treat that like a normal review, but having said that, we're all about round 1, and as much as we were disappointing, we'll move on real quick.
Yeah, of course we want to win. Disappointing way we played. Fans is not great because they're going, geez, how's our year going to go? Yeah, it's just a bit of a wake-up thing, of course. You know, if you don't compete, you're no chance.
It's a great learning curve for the young boys, and the older boys need to have a good look this week at the things where they didn't perform and we didn't perform. I had a few moments, but yeah, it's something we can work on throughout the week. It's a good learning curve for the young boys. That's why it's good to see them play in the JLT. They can learn and look at the tapes and see where they got exposed. But I think as a whole team, as a unit, we just need to have a good look at it and make sure we put our best foot forward for round 1.
You know, even our JLT 1 against Port, we were really pleased with our intensity and our pressure and our work rate, and quite the opposite JLT 2. So we're looking for consistency, and our leaders are really aware of what they need to bring to do that. So learn from that game, overall positive result.
West Coast in decline.
I've got them both missing the 8, but I think there's a little bit to be gained out of this year for both clubs.
It's that time of the year when footy experts bring out the crystal ball.
Well, I think it's going to be a difficult year as far as the West Coast Eagles are concerned.
A lifetime behind the microphone gives Dennis Cometti the credibility to assess whether the Eagles will improve on last year's dramatic final series.
When you look at them, they're wafer thin. If they get some injuries, they're really in trouble.
The absence of Josh Kennedy at the start of the year is part of the problem.
He's very important because he kicks a lot of goals, and they don't have a lot of forward 50 entries, so those two things combined, I'm not sure they can find a replacement.
Add to that the retirement of Matt Priddis and Sam Mitchell exposes the Eagles' midfield. Dennis is adamant the club should have brought in last year's Sandover medalist.
I'm amazed, I've got to say, that Hayden Schloith wasn't drafted by the West Coast Eagles.
Shuey's an A-grader, Gaff's, I'd have him as a B+, and the rest of them are slow.
The Eagles' last pre-season performance did little to inspire confidence.
I had them just missing the 8, now I've got them 12th. And I do worry that they could slide significantly unless they can find players.
How good is this bloke?
I see them about 9th, knocking on the door. If everything fell into place, I could see them playing finals.
The broadcasting great is more bullish about Freo, providing they can hit the scoreboard more often.
Their leading goal scorer last year was Cam McCarthy with 25. Well, if they're to figure in the finals, he needs to go near 50 or above.
The return of their champion ruckman could be the most important factor.
Sandilands, I think, is the man, though, because if he can play the whole season, he's the man that changes the whole dynamic in that centre square.
I've got Fremantle 13th. Just behind West Coast, and I think Fremantle will play some really good footy this year, but I think injuries will get them and the kids will come in.
No September glory according to our experts, but better days ahead for both teams at their new home.
Most home teams win their games, and if the West Coast and Fremantle can start doing that even midway through the season, become comfortable, that'll be a good thing, and it's probably likely to happen.